going to go ahead and do our engine shutdown at this point.
Okay.
All right, real simple. All the way to idle. Airspeed down under 60.
Yep.
It is.
Engine speed.
Go. Okay.
Oil
and
pressure.
I'm going to go down
Fuel
to 0
pressure.
flaps. And we're going to feather the prop. Okay, so I pulled the knob. We feather the prop.
Yep. Oh, sweet.
Exhaust gas temperature.
Now we're soaring, and we're coming down about well, it says 700. We're in some sync right there. Normally about 500 feet a minute.
Right.
Okay. While we're up nice and high, let's do a wing over. It's always my favorite thing to do. It's not part of the check, but it's something that this aircraft is fun to do it in.
Yes.
Exhaust gas
you
temperature.
get the maximum of about 2 Gs and 0
Exhaust
Gs at
gas
the top of the turn,
temperature.
and 0 Gs,
Exhaust
and then
gas temperature.
2 Gs at the bottom.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go right first, and then we'll go left.
Okay.
So I'm going to lower the nose. We're going to accelerate to about 75 knots.
Yep.
And I'm going to pull straight back, kick the rudder a little bit at the top. And now I've got the stick straight back. We're finishing our 90-degree turn with the elevator.
Look at that.
Little left rudder comes out of the turn, and we just go right straight back the other way. I haven't moved the stick at all. It's still straight back.
Gee whiz.
The elevator turns at 0 Gs. You can't stall, so we're not close to stalling.
Right.
Okay, so that's a wing over. I hardly move the stick at all. A little bit of rudder input, and that's all it takes to do that maneuver.
That is so cool. I love it.
Bank to the left a little bit, yes.
My name's Rand Vollmer, and I'm a Pipistrel dealer here in the USA, and I've been a dealer for the past 12 years. I actually started a dealership when I was still living in Europe. I have a partner in Texas. We have been exclusive dealers of Pipistrel for about the last 10 years. A little bit about Pipistrel. I was impressed with the company when I saw at an air show the first Sinus in the U.S. here at Sun 'n Fun, and I was amazed at the performance. I love the concept of a touring motor glider, and there just really weren't too many of them on the market, and there still aren't. The touring motor glider, the Sinus, isn't as fast as the one that's behind me, but at 110 knots and at LSA, it's a lot faster than a lot of aircraft with 100 horsepower, and it's running on 80 horsepower Rotax. Pipistrel's an interesting company. The founder is a fellow by the name of Ivo Boskerl. A lot of you know the story of Ivo. He started building trikes when it was still Yugoslavia, and he snuck parts, generators, canvas, and the things he needed to build. He told them he was building generators and tents. Instead, he was building trikes, and they were flying in the evenings down in Slovenia. Actually, it was Yugoslavia at the time, and it was illegal for him to be doing that. And so the locals knew what was going on, and in order to kind of disguise their code for letting people know that Evo was out flying, was the Pipistrella are out. And Pipistrella is Italian for bat. And part of Yugoslavia where he grew up spoke Italian, or a version of Italian. And anyway, that was how the name Pipistrel was born. And I'm wearing our old logo here on this side. My hat, we're a kind of a new company, and the technology that goes into Pipistrel is pretty amazing. There are some very, very sharp folks there. Pipistrel builds aircraft, and I love to market them. They've got fiberglass wings, fiberglass landing gear, carbon fiber fuselage, and even Kevlar in the cockpit. So they've really focused on efficiency and safety, and they're also extremely green in everything that they do there at Pipistrel. They've got solar panels. They now have 3 factories. 2 are in Slovenia. 1 is in Italy. They got a 60,000 square foot factory in Italy. That's where all of our certified and LSA aircraft are built, or at least final assembly there. The reason being is that Italy has a bilateral agreement with the FAA, so the final assembly is accepted for the certification level of the aircraft, whereas Slovenia did not have that. It is a very impressive factory. If you ever get a chance to go visit Pipistrel, I think, like me, you'll be amazed. You'll go into the factory and you'll believe that you're in a hospital, not a factory where they're building things. It's immaculate. Some of you may have heard recently that we were purchased by Textron. I don't know how it's going to work for little dealers like me, and that's okay, but I think it'll be great for customers, and hopefully it'll be great for all the different products. The primary focus of the purchase was Pipistrel is the world leader in electric aircraft. We've got more flying, and we've even got the first type certified, the first and only type certified electric that is type certified in Europe, not in the US yet. The nice thing about the touring motor glider, 14-year-old can solo, 16-year-old can get a private pilot glider rating and take other people up, not 17 like an airplane. All the hours in a glider count toward an airplane rating. Theoretically, you only need 10 hours of flight time to take your check ride and get a glider rating. I've never had anybody get done that quickly, but I've done several in under 15 hours total time, and from first flight to check ride on the 7th day. So it took 7 days to get non-pilot to a private pilot glider rating. And then if he flies gliders for 37 hours total time, then all he needs to do is 3 hours in an airplane with an instructor at night, cross country, under the hood, and he's theoretically ready for his airplane check ride. So by the time you get over 40 hours, you can have 2 ratings, not just 1. The other nice thing about the glider rating, you do not have to have a medical at all. And even pilots who have lost their medical don't have to get it reinstated. If they can look in the mirror and say, I feel good, I'm safe to fly, that's all that's required to fly a glider. So any of you out there who have thought you couldn't fly anymore, that may not be the case. I love being a Pipistrel dealer. I am having a lot of fun, and as long as it stays fun, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. Okay, a little story about some of the things that we've done with the Pipistrel, because it really kind of brings home the idea of how much fun you can have with an aircraft. And tell 2 quick stories. One, my wife doesn't fly with me too often. She doesn't get joy out of it the way I do, but she lets me have my fun. But when I told her that there's this Caribbean rally, that it was $5,000 per aircraft, and it wouldn't cost hardly any more for her to go with me. We stay in 4- and 5-star hotels, and they have really good food, and it's beautiful scenery. 2-week vacation. Well, she never had a 2-week vacation with me before, so she reluctantly at first decided to go, and we flew the Caribbean Rally. And to give you an idea of what that was like, we meet in Fort Lauderdale Executive. There were 30 to 40 aircraft involved in the flight. We did our flight planning in the evening and started out on a rally. I had never flown overseas, so they helped with the flight plans, with the clearances, and keep us all out of trouble. But the Caribbean Rally starts out, and we're able to stop in the Bahamas for fuel. We got our first leg was actually going to be to we're going to overnight at Grand Turk, and I asked Anna, I said, do you need to stop because it'll add an extra hour and a half to our trip? And she said no, she's a good wife. So we made a 7-hour flight to Grand Turk in the Pipistrel Sinus. We still had an hour's worth of fuel on board. We had flown at economy cruise the whole way. That was fun. She started to relax. In fact, she even went to sleep once, but then I realized that was because my altimeter was off a bit, and I was up at 15,000 feet. At any rate, the Caribbean Rally takes you down through the Virgin Islands and all the way down almost to South America. The first time we stopped, I believe, at Martinique, and we've done it twice. We did it in 2019, and we went all the way down to Tobago and back. And Tobago is only about 50 miles off the coast of Venezuela. So you really can do some traveling. The neat thing was we were always within gliding distance of land, except for one time when we had a low overhead. We had to go out 15 miles to get up to the clear skies. That we would have had to swim a bit, but we never had, the engine never missed a beat. And the stories about always hearing the engine run rough over water, that wasn't the case. It sounded good the whole way. The other interesting story, when I was a new instructor, I went up to Oshkosh for training, and I brought my very first demonstrator up there with me. And I loaded up with fuel, had a nice tailwind, and I said, okay, I'm going to just see. I don't know if I can make it, because Zephyrhills Airport, where I'm based, just north of Tampa, is about 1,250 miles from Oshkosh. Well, I started up, climbed up to about 11,500, had a 22 to 23 knot tailwind, and kept it economy cruise. I had a supply of Gatorade, and I came in. That first aircraft didn't have lights, so I couldn't fly at night. And the last 100 miles or so, I pushed the engine up to full cruise, and the last few gallons went a lot faster than the first 23. And I came in high knowing it was close. I have sight gauges, so you really know exactly how much fuel you got left. And I've also tested it, and when the fuel disappears in the sight gauge, you've got about 35 to 40 seconds before the engine stops. At any rate, my engine didn't stop until I was on short final. In a glider, it's legal, not very smart. I probably won't do that again, but it made for an interesting flight. It was still legal. I was within a half hour of sunset, and it, I think, is still an LSA record for distance and endurance in the U.S. I don't know. I've never seen anybody claim they've gone further than 1,200 miles and 10 hours endurance. But those are two interesting stories. The Pipistrel really performs nicely, and it's been a lot of fun.
Rand, thank you very much for a fantastic look into the Pipistrel, the capabilities, and I really appreciate what you're doing here. And I can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you very much, Wayne.
Take care.
All right.
Hi folks, I am most grateful to Rand Vollmer for sharing his technical expertise, highlighting skills and fascinating stories with all of us. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't, and as always, I appreciate your comments. Thank you for watching and sharing my stories. Until next time, take care.